right. Hey there. Wait. Oh.
Under my umbrella.
All right. Hey there to all you wonderful, wonderful people. How's it going? Man, right when this starts, too. Liz, thank you for those 5 gifted memberships. Mwah, chef's kiss. Thank you for real. Appreciate all you folks. Man, it's been a fascinating one. I've been watching this spin. So for the last couple of weeks, I've been talking about the PR, the PR that is pushing for the quote unquote comeback tour, right? We keep hearing about that over and over again because they've been trying to push this movie In the Fire. Now, In the Fire, funny enough, a few years ago, the media actually had a problem with that movie. They called it the savior of it was another white savior movie. You have somebody coming in, they're saving the kids, they're saving the autistic kids from themselves. Yeah, the other layer that the media now they won't say anything like that, but the other layer to that isn't it fascinating to see somebody utilizing children as their stepping stone when they still owe a children's hospital millions of dollars? I find that to be, I don't know. I just find it's a fascinating setup, this whole thing, but it explains so much of what we've seen in the last little while. So we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about there's some new footage there. You can see the tight shots and stuff. It's fascinating how how the spin is on this. And there's a lot of conversation about potentially being drunk during everything, just the way she's acting, the photons. It's fascinating to see the differences between how the media covered JD, the guy who won, by the way, the guy who proved to the entire world that he had been accosted by It's fascinating to see how they cover him versus how they cover her. You would think in the media's eyes that she had won a case or something. Let me grab something real fast. I gotta pull something up on my phone too. So just give me a second. I'm grabbing it. I left my phone laying across the room. All right, here I'm coming back. I'm coming right back. I left my phone on the other side of the room. I needed it so I could pull something up. But yeah, hey, what's up? By the way, Fallen Hero, thank you for the gifted membership too. Thank you for that. Appreciate you there for sure. Appreciate all of you. I want to take that moment to say that too. I mean, it's been an interesting this roller coaster ride. You have this expectation that sooner or later it all comes tumbling down, if you know what I mean. Like everything will eventually stop. But the problem is that you have somebody. In my mind, this is the way I look at it. I'm just going to no bullshit. I'll put it this way. It would be like to me right now, somebody doing a welcome back tour for Harvey Weinstein. I couldn't imagine them doing that. That would be unheard of, and the blowback would be severe. But since AH is female, and since she was a icon that people looked at for beauty at one time, it's different. It's totally different. It's a bizarre setup, and yet that's where we are. Rhea, thanks for the 5. It's my husband. Oh, Mark Norman, what's up? Birthday on Monday. He's going to be old, bald, and boring. Hey, that's the best time. Mark, what's up, Mark? Happy pre-birthday. Happy birthday, baby. No. Excuse me for calling you baby. I'm just playing. Oh Lord. No, happy birthday, Mark, man. I appreciate you, buddy. You know, appreciate both of you there. Called you baby. Mm. Oh Lord, what's up, Donna? Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for the membership. Welcome to Tug Slugs. Let me show you something today. Thank you, Donna. I'm going to show you something before we get started. And it's such a bizarre. I don't I don't get the people calling AH mommy all the time. It's weird to me. It's really weird. Remember they call her daddy too, you know? But it's very bizarre to me. And it's everywhere. I mean, you're talking about like I mean, look at this. Look at this. So I was making fun of this stuff today because I think it's funny. You know? It's everywhere. AH is my mother. It's like, oh my God, are you freaking kidding me, folks? Are you kidding? What's up, Pastor Flash, dude? How's it going, man? Thanks for the 3 months. I wonder if people at the Comeback Festival actually recognize her sneaking in. I don't know. We'll show that footage and the new footage too. So there's a little bit more footage with it. I want to show you the tight shots and everything, how they try to make it look like she's actually got crowds. I mean, it's bizarre. Like this is cultishly bizarre to me. Only the cult has mainstream media prowess and power. I mean, that's the weird thing. But you get this, my mama, mother. Oh, mother's arrived. Mother is mothering, and these people are so freaking weird to me. Like I don't get it. And they tell me, of course, their response is, "You're so old, Tug. You don't know what you're talking about." That's actually where they've been doing. You too old. And yeah, here's this. And I've got a little news flash for them. Their mama there, she's what, 37 or 38? I mean, she's no spring chicken here. So there's nothing wrong with being aging either. Like I said, I'm not a freaking 3-year-old out here by any means, but yeah, I mean, it's like, because you're old ass. You're an old ass who uses cringe and simps. I'm making fun of him about it. I'm like, oh my God, it's cringing me to death. You should only stay on Facebook with your old hags. Oh man, talking about butt hurt. Oh my God, you old ass. I love life some days. Gloria, thanks for the 5 there. I hope they keep the energy of cheering her on when she turns her rage on a little kid. I hope that never happens. These kinds of parents always do. I really hope I really hope all of that. I hope that goes good. So I pointed this out. I was making fun of this, and I mean, oh my God, it gets even better. So, when you make fun of people like that, you know what they do? They're like, oh my God, I gotcha. So check this shit out. Oh, it's so funny. Give me 1 minute. Oh, don't tell me they deleted it. I hope you didn't delete it. God. Oh, no, no, there they are. Woo, I was like, "Oh, man, I hope they didn't delete their comment yet." So, there here we go. So, of course, I laugh at that because, I'm in the mood too. I'm like, man, they get salty when you mock old mama. I was like, well, the poor babies. Maybe Chris Bouzy or Eve Barlow would change their pampers since mommy is an absentee parent. And they're like, ooh, are you salty for calling you an old ass? Which you are. Da da da. Yeah, sorry about never adopting a celebrity and being like, "Oh, mama, mama." Oh my God, it's so funny. Who doesn't understand social media slang? I understand. I I I understand unhealthy relationships and fixations. And man, these people are the prize. In fact, I would wager that this person right here probably has 6 accounts telling me to fuck myself. They're like, look at all my friends tell you. I'm like, no, that's all you. No, no, I hear them talking through my head. It's like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's not real. But yeah, I mean, are you offended? This is always the game. You make fun of them. They're like, "Oh my God, are you gonna cry?" Now I'm gonna monetize you, fucko. That's what I'm gonna do because it's fun. It is fun. I love how upset they get though. They're like, "Oh, you're going to cry." Yeah, the 5 posts I've done today while going out with the kids and Amber Heard Simps essentially paying for freaking. I I got the kids a plant. I got them a couple of things on the day, and the Sims favorite man. Yeah, it really hurts my feelings. You hear all that crying. Oh my god. I really think it's funny though. Again, oh man, all us old asses out there. Again, isn't a 20-year-old. Is almost 40. Like she's creeping on 40. There's nothing wrong with being 40, by the way. But come on, man. I mean, if you're gonna play that card, give me a break. Hey, what's up? Jerry Depp, what's up? What's up? Love you, Tug. Love return there, by the way. Much, much love return. You know what? I do. I love all you folks. I heard a social media person said, "Never tell your crowd that you love them. Never tell them that behind the scenes." That's for sure. That's there's a YouTuber we're going to talk about, but never tell them that publicly. And I'm like, why not, man? They're there when the best, worst. They support. They are the channel. Love them. Love them unconditional. All of them. Don't be like that one YouTuber that allegedly we'll talk about them. Oh Lord. That's a weird situation. Hey Donna, thanks for the 8 months. Love watching your lives. Love watching Amber Turd and her cronies cry. Oh, I love it. They've the salt is real today though. I mean, it's real enough that give me a second. That apparently apparently some people want my beautiful self to die. It's such a sad thing. Apparently they want the landlord to die that owns over there. This is the totally sane. They're like almost. I was like, man, Simps calling her mother almost cringed me to death. They're like, almost. I hope he dies. I never called her mother, but I'll start if it means almost would become actually. Man, you know what kind of fucked up person that you have to be to to invest that heavily. That again, they tell people like myself, Laura B, you, whomever. They tell us all that we're nobodies, right? We don't matter. So, I mean, rooting for the demise of the people that don't matter, it seems bizarre, doesn't it? It's almost like you do matter. That's why that's why I enjoy this conversation so much. Give me a second. I'll light my cigar here. All right, so let's talk about that film festival. So the first footage of the film festival comes up with. I'm going to put it in somewhat of an order. Okay. Now, I'm not gonna turn the sound on for the first part, but I do wanna there are actually 2 different videos that show her on arrival, and I thought this was fascinating considering there are videos of her getting ready, like putting her hair together and everything. They tried to make this like a press tour. They've been spinning this as a Hollywood comeback. We're talking about Italy here, by the way, and I'm sure that they've done their best to try to keep this thing under cap. Because if anybody could actually go there and protest, oh my God, could you just imagine how the crowds would be? But this is the arrival here. I mean, this is supposedly like when you look at it, you see the flashes, you see how this is tight camered in. It's not just to catch her, but it gives the presentation that there are a lot of people. But if you look, you'll notice cleared paths. You'll notice walking in with security, they're not having to keep anybody out. You just have a few photogs there. And I'm gonna turn the sound on for it now because I want you to hear the fact that there isn't really anything with it. I mean, it's such a like I said, it's so bizarre with it. So here we go. Now here we are. Listen to this sound here. It may be loud, so I'm warning you. I don't know how loud this is, okay? When it comes up. If it's really loud, I'll stop it real fast. You can hear everything. Like you can hear the footsteps. Like you can hear every single thing that's coming up, you know? So, I mean, there's nothing. There's no sound. And one of the reasons that there's no sound to this is because she wasn't on time. People are calling this brave, by the way. You know what brave is? Brave is standing up after you expose to the world that somebody tried to destroy your entire life and having the entire mainstream, the entire cottage industry that is hashtag me too, because again, they don't care about male victims. They've made that very clear these days. Those billion-dollar industries and being like, fuck it, I don't care what you do. You can't stop me. That's brave. Brave isn't knowing that you can insulate yourself and still get away. I mean, you're talking about somebody that's still getting away with, again, I could not imagine people having a film festival for Harvey Weinstein. And yet, I mean, we have a person that I mean, just drink this in before we go to this next clip. We have a person that we know removed someone's finger, used them as a human ashtray, beat them repeatedly. We have all of this proof. It was overwhelming. The world saw it with just landslide, and yet they want to treat them like when they're bringing up all of these other names, when they bring up the Polanski and, they throw all these other names, her name should be front and center. Like they tried to tar and feather JD, putting his name in there. But really, the monster that we understood, the monster that is in another country hiding out. When we think about the similarities, here's something too that the media won't say. They brought up all of these abusers from the past, saying, oh, these people, they hide out in other countries. Wait a minute. They hide out in other countries. Spain said, "What?" Now they don't come to the US anymore. Wait, what again? They fear their legal ramifications of what they done. Australia say what again? Yeah, I mean, who exactly has to hang their head when they come near the US? Who exactly fled in the middle of the night, basically picking up and uprooting everything? Yeah, I think we know. But it's just like I said, it's bizarre. It's bizarre the spin versus the reality to that. Now you also have the showing up. And this I thought was really interesting. You can see this come up from Deadline Hollywood. Is Deadline Hollywood? I'm curious. I can't remember. Is Deadline Hollywood a Penske Media? Can somebody look that up real fast so I don't have to interrupt the live stream? Because Deadline Hollywood, I keep thinking if the reason I mentioned that Deadline Deadline Hollywood, if they're part of the Penske Media Group, yes, they are. That's what I keep thinking. So, okay, so Deadline Hollywood, they're part of the same company that owns Rolling Stone, that owns Variety. They are the company that began the attack on JD. That's who Penske Media is. They're subsidiaries. They began the attack and they kept it going. They've gone after him for years. So seeing them puff piece and show all of this stuff, pretending that it's some kind of that it's some kind of great thing, that's not surprising in any way. But you got to remember who you're dealing with. It's really funny. Like these people, they complain again because people like myself spoke to an Adam Waldman. Oh man, while researching things, you spoke to somebody. And yet, you're talking about organizations that have gone so far down the rabbit hole, they've attacked everyone. And when I say everyone, we're not just talking about JD, we're talking about his daughter. We're talking about anyone that worked with any of them. That's JD or his daughter, directors, anyone else. In fact, they even went after the Weeknd. I love the Weeknd's music. I do. You don't have to like the show The Idol either. We'll talk about that in a minute. But for them to go after The Weeknd, and Variety went hard after them because they are part, Rolling Stone hasn't been doing it. Variety's been doing it because Rolling Stone, they fired the first salvo. They went after him hard. And when they did, he fired back. He was like, I ain't taking this shit, basically. So when that happened, another Penske Media group took over. I mean, it's the same group. It's really messed up when you think about it. And the Weeknd has enough clout and power. He could bury one of these places if he really wanted to do it. But to see him, they're nasty enough. Did you know Oreo cookies went after him and the show The Idol? That company, yeah, Oreo. I mean, it was the weirdest thing. Like, I found that in an article, and it was on Twitter. They decided to go after The Idol and The Weeknd. I was like, "Yeah, that's a good way to lose some money right there." But anyway, this this is what they back. So I'll turn the sound on in just a actually, let's watch the sound to it first. Give me 1 second. Let me readjust the sound on this picture. Okay, give me 1 second. So this is the arrival. I'm gonna play the sound to it, and then we'll look at a few things with it because I want you to understand, this is her arriving. Now, all of this is already going on. You have not just the band here or whatever's going on, but you can hear singing and everything else. This is a flagrant interruption of the proceedings. Listen, I mean, really drink this in. Here we go. So you hear the singing, like right there, you can hear it kick in. So, I mean, this is in the middle of, look, she's all creeping in there. They've been knocking me. Now that is just, that is flagrantly disrespectful. But the other thing that I notice here, if you watch the people, you can see the procession. You know this is supposed to be somebody, right? I mean, you can tell, hey, well, who's that coming in? There are a couple of people that notice, but not a lot of people care. And one of the things that's very interesting to me too is, for all the hype and everything, again, social media is free. People can go out and try to tar and feather somebody and pretend, making articles is free. But you know what isn't fucking free? Going there and actually doing something. The media, they get expenses paid and everything else, but they didn't figure it was important enough to be there while AH arrived. They had a handful of photogs at best. Compare that to a cans. You have hundreds of photogs circling. I mean, they're like sharks in the freaking water, man. But look at this. I mean, look at the people. Like, look at how they are. All right. So you can see, there's a few people that are noticing the arrival. Because I mean, again, it's right in the middle of everything. You have this group of folks. Again, this is rude as shit when you think about it. Can you imagine too? I want you to really picture this. If you think I'm being an ass about this, I want you to think about this. What do you think the articles would have looked like if JD arrived like this? Do you think for a second that the media wouldn't have been, oh my God, his ego, like that would have been first and foremost. They would have been yelling about ego. They'd have been yelling about all of the insanity. Man, freaking thank you, mods, for doing that. So check this out. This is crazy. So YouTube decides to hold comments for approval. If you don't see your comment come up right away, somebody has to approve it. But they held Luke's, Amanda's, they held Victoria. I mean, right all in a row. It was just bam, 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 bam. I appreciate the mods catching those. They're having to let half the comments through. That's freaking nuts, man. It just tells you they censor these topics. And these topics, yeah, they shouldn't be. Again, we're talking about, I understand censored, like sensitive material. I understand that falling under a censorship screen. But the fact that, again, we watch somebody in front of millions, millions of people tuned in. And again, there's this weird thing. They figure if enough people tune out, that maybe they can rehab this image. And of course, Of course, they're going to try to do that. But the reality, like I said, if this was JD creeping in, skulking in, what would they say about him? You know what they would say. They would make up rumors about how he's fighting with the convention, how he's, ruining people's lives, how dare he's rude. They would have been talking about how there's substances. They would have been doing all of that. I mean, again, if they had give me one second, if they had an image like this right here, I like this for a thumbnail, by the way. That's why I used it today. I mean, look. Ambush. Oh, I need some music to that right there. I need some clown music. I need that for my intro. It can go back and forth. But I mean, seriously. Notice all those empty chairs though. I thought that was fascinating too. I mean, at the end of the day, this is JD's already had a debut movie. His movie's going to be here, but he's already had a debut, right? So this would be, again, it's been touted as AH's comeback. That's what this is all supposed to be. Now, it doesn't matter if her movie's popped up yet or not. The festivities, again, you would think people would be all over that. That's why that's why, at the end of the day, these festivals, they they protect because they see the 25% bot bullshit, and they see people like Cat Timbarge, buzzwording the shit out of things, and they think that that's real life, but in reality, that's not. That's not real life. It doesn't tune into money, even free. I mean, look at that. Look how much emptiness there is. Look at that sneaking in, just skulking. Now there's a newer video too that shows AH coming in. Give me a minute. I'll have to pull that up. I thought this was weird. Why the way? I saw somebody talking about this. This is just weird. I want to mention this. Why the heck are there people drinking glow sticks? You know, there have been people talking about how apparently that's something new on TikTok. Kids don't drink glow sticks. I'm pulling some of that video up while I'm saying this. I don't understand the world. I mean, maybe that's how age, maybe there's a correlation there. Maybe in the same world where people drink glow sticks, maybe that's how we end up with this kind of shit. Now, this is supposed to be your giant crowd proving everything wrong. Look at all the people. Yeah. All right. So look here. All right. I'm going to zoom through. Actually, I'm going to let it play first and then I'll do that. So here, that's a little loud. Let me turn that down a little bit. I apologize. They're all uneven. They're so uneven. You never know how loud they are. So all of the togs into one place. Like, look at it for real. Because I've seen this. Oh, look at the crowds. Okay, where are the armies of? Are you kidding me? You have the photogs. They want to get their pictures there, so of course they're there. But where's all the support signs? JD. Like, if I go and I search JD cans, for example, and I go different film festivals there, but if JD's popping up at something, the man, we were hearing how the man's career was over. Like he was done, right? You kept hearing that. Oh, there's nothing left for the man anymore. Let me get crowds cans. I mean, if you look at the pictures from that, the headlines, okay, the headlines to it were, God, man, if I robot, I apologize for a second. I had to pull up Variety. Okay, this is a Variety article I want to show you real quick. Variety, who hates JD. I mean, they hate the man. This is the kind of coverage that they give. And again, let me adjust this. Sorry. Should have done that before. Apology. But swarmed with screams and I mean, look at that. I mean, they admit in here, like they write entire articles about how he is being swarmed, how there are armies of people, and they hate him. They kept saying his career was over. Nobody wanted him there or more. You look up the pictures for it too. So I looked up crowds. This is what crowd pictures look like. Here you are. Look at that. And it's, like I said, it's amazing. This movie is not a new movie either. They keep pushing it like it's a new movie. They're calling it, so the media keeps calling this. Give me one. Like places like TMZ, the shill sites. People keep trying to give the shill sites breaks, by the way, pretending, oh, well, they're not shill sites anymore. But look at this here. So you have searches like this one. Here's one of the first articles. There were a few on that. You can see a few like pop up, but they're like, she's bouncing back with a new film. Well, it's a new debut possibly, but it's not a new film, and you have the trailer for it. So I don't know how this will play. I want to pull up the trailer here. Give me one second. I'm going to load it, right? I'm going to load it on Instagram. If it doesn't play well at volume, that's okay. Give me one second. I thought we'd look at the trailer live because we haven't done that. If you, I do have an Instagram. If you write me on there, though, I apologize. I just don't like Instagram very much. Bores me. So give me one second. Here's the trailer. We've never looked at it live. So check this out with me. This is a fun trailer too, because again, there were some people saying, oh, giving the trailer any time, that's terrible. This is a hilarious trailer. I mean, you have I felt like this was a gap. It was so funny. I haven't talked about this live. I made videos on this, but I haven't talked about this live. When I saw this trailer, I thought it was fake. I couldn't believe this was their trailer. Why? Well, check this out here. Tell me if the sound doesn't come up for some reason. If it doesn't, then we'll talk about it. But here we go. If it's loud, I don't know how loud. So brace yourself, still yourself.
Can you hear it, Martine?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Each click in rhythm with the one before and the one after. Each moment, no longer and no shorter than any other.
Now, it's already the same. Like everything that you have, like AH's acting is almost a trope these days. It's almost a trope. She's a psychologist. She's more like a test case. It's not really a psychologist. She's more of a test case, like I said. I hate to call her, but yeah, in this, she's supposed to be working. She's supposed to be working with an autistic kid that they think is demon possessed, and she's going to come in and she's going to save the world, baby, because she's the savior of the autistic kids. Like I said, which is funny. But anyway, let's continue here.
Time passing in perfect symmetry. I'm going to name a thing, and you're going to tell me how it makes you feel. Horses.
I like to ride horses, but they smell very bad.
Every time I hear that, I want to make sheet and dog jokes. Oh, the horses smell very bad. Yeah, kind of like sheets. Avoid them at all costs. But you know what? You can always blame the dogs if it smells too badly. I mean, wait, what? What'd I say?
Yellow clovers.
I hate them
Why?
because they remind me of Mama.
Oh my God.
Tell me about her.
There's your code. Mama, mama. I've heard that word so many times for her. Yeah. And again, when you watch this stuff, when I play this, I'm going to play it through, do some commentary, but I'm going to turn it back on. And after this, I just want you to pay attention, not to the trailer necessarily, but to her facial expressions and compare those with everything you see in the trial. You'll see it front and center when her face is right there in front of you. But sometimes, yeah, anyway.
She smelled like lavender, and her hair was the color of burnt coffee.
How did she make you feel?
Safe.
That sounds very nice. Why would you dislike that feeling, Martine?
Because it's a lie. We're not safe.
I like this kid's look, by the way. If you're going to pull a movie of, oh man, this kid right here, maybe he's demon possessed or something. He has a creep, look there. Again, the premise might work. I don't really get into the same crowd that will cancel people and will go out and scream about, you know, isms and whatnot. That's these folks. I mean, they are very well head neck deep in fucking cancel. That they are the culture of cancellation. So anyone that would do that, yeah, I'm going to take a magnifying glass and look at that specific person. But as far as the kid is concerned, and the idea, you could make a good movie out of this, but with AH, you can't because this circus that you may get some more eyes where people are looking at it and being like, "What the hell?" In fact, I'll probably watch it and tell you just how just how it goes. I'll watch The Stand and more, but still, anyway, let's finish. Here's where it gets good, okay?
We're all gonna die because of me.
Now look at that. Okay, look at these. This is the same. If you go and you pull up any of the expressions from the courtroom, this is like one of the thumbnails from the courtroom that I use. That's what that looks like. The bewildered look, supposedly in shock. They were telling you, not the perfect victim. Remember all of that stuff? Same looks, exactly the same. Because this is AH's acting. It came through on the stand. It comes through here. It is the exact same shit. The emotional depth of cardboard, but it comes through in there. You can see it. I mean, look at that.
What is your lie?
What is your lie?
What is your lie? What is your lie? What is your lie?
That I'm a fraud.
I love it. Oh my god, I'm a fraud. whoever put this together is a fucking genius. I love it. We're gonna finish. Just give me a second. Why would this be your first? This is your first step forward after everything, after the courtroom, after all of that. This is the first step forward. This is supposed to be not only the comeback, but to showcase something incredible, right? Yeah. Why would you do this? I mean, it's because somebody dislikes her. And Gloria thinks it's 10. If you look at the way her face when she says, "I'm a fraud" in the film trailer, and then you look at the way she looks at Samantha Guthrie in the interview, it's the same expression. It is. That's one of the reasons I stop on this stuff because, I save that quote there because when you look at it, these are the exact, I mean, again, the emotional range of cardboard, in my opinion. You can see, the same trying to make your eyes tear. I mean, it's the same stuff. There isn't there's no real emotion that came out. That's what that's what dooms somebody in a trial. And that's probably what I have no idea what In the Fire costs. Maybe it'll actually, again, as a curiosity, maybe the first movie that does this, maybe they will make some money. Who knows? You maybe could because, it's the same thing that people like to, again, watch a sideshow or a circus or when you stare at cars after a car wreck. Well, it's the same thing because this, yeah, it's like driving by a dumpster and watching the thing blaze. I mean, people stare and they gawk, but are they going to gawk? Will it have staying power? Probably not. Heather Bone thinks so too. Can't stop looking at her chin implant. Actually, the same thing. So you notice the coloration here. Isn't that the same bruise that we got from the trial? If you look at her cheek, isn't that the same thing that was supposed to be proof? I mean, look at it for real. Zoom in on that image there. Like you tell me. I'm curious. Isn't that the same thing that was used as proof that there was some kind of horrible thing that happened? It's kind of strange, over time. She also apparently had her. Anyway, I'll show you something else in a minute.
That I repeat the teachings of great men.
See, okay, you see all that expression there? Again, just like the court.
But I'm not one of them. That I'll travel to the edge of the world to prove myself. Only to fail.
Only to fail. That's what happened in real life. It's like they telegraph real life in there. I traveled to the edge of the world. I was going to prove myself, and I failed. Virginia say, what now? I mean, again, it's like we're talking about real life. Whoever put this together, like I said, they don't seem like a fan. You see why I thought this was a gaffe, right? I didn't think this was real. I had no idea. What's up, Jonathan? Thanks for the 20. Truth is stranger than fiction, as Mark Twain said. That's very true. That is very true. Thank you. And yes, I mean, when you look at this, again, anyway, let's finish. Okay, you saw again, oh man, that again, all the same stuff from the trial. The fake cry, the putting the hand over the face.
Those aren't lies. They're fears.
Now, I want you to, like I said, I want you to watch this while it's in the background. Just watch the facial expressions when they come up. Watch the acting and everything while we talk. I'll leave it right there in the background because again, it's astounding. It is absolutely astounding to be able to see it. What's up, Dreadnought? Thanks for 5. Hey, Tug. Hope you're doing great. I am. Thank you. Sorry I'm a little late, but it seems like I showed up at the perfect time. You did indeed. Absolutely love this clip. I'm a fraud. I can't believe they chose that. That's their best foot forward. I mean, it's funny as hell. Oh, yeah, thanks for the 2 there. Hope she doesn't have to cry in this film. I saw water in her eye. I'm not sure what they had to do. I mean, maybe somebody had to get a fire hose outside and spray it in her eye. Maybe somebody was like, they were like, you know what? We need you to convey emotion. And she was like, okay, well, hit me with something. Okay. You lost. You have to run to Spain. Nobody likes you. Everyone understands that you're not a miracle worker. He's like, oh no, it's too much. you know. Oh, I mean, there is a tear in that eye, though. There's water. I won't say a tear. There's water in that eye. If you look, one of them actually manages that. I was like, how many Visine bottles had to give their life for that one tear? Let's take a moment. We'll take a moment and actually we'll give them a moment of silence for it. Poor Visine, baby. Sandra, thanks for the 10. Man, I'm so tired of hearing about this liar, but you just mostly laugh at idiotic simps. Mother. And I kind of like your voice and laugh. So I'm here for a little, so here's a little support. Thank you. Yeah, it's not about, people make this mistake of retrying something. This is not a retrial. The trial happened. It's over, man. It's been over for a year. The things that you focus on in this is the insanity with the PR. Again, you have to ask yourself, what makes this worth covering here? It's first of all the charting of the two polarities. You look at the rise of one career as it's meteorically coming back. You look at the failure of someone else that again was associated with Warner, which Warner's falling apart too. Warner, did you see all this stuff about their back catalog? They're trying to sell off a lot, like half of their music back catalog and a bunch of old movies. And you know how much they're selling it off for? $500 million. Like that's a lot of money to me and you, but that's not anything for a company like that. I mean, that's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. Now there's some other videos too. I did find it interesting. So, the hype too, when they talked about this, give me one second. When they were hyping this all up, I saw some people saying, well, late, oh, well, that could be anything. Okay, well, this was This was heavily hyped to the point that apparently this is off of Twitter. People were reposting, but you have, I think this has copyrighted music to it, but they put in the getting ready and stuff. So I mean, they put all of this stuff up. I mean, they knew that this was focal point enough to actually matter, that they should actually put some time in, but they didn't manage to arrive on time. I mean, that's astounding when you think about it. Hey, Leon, me always. Thanks for the 5. Art imitating life, and life imitating art. Indeed, indeed, that is very true. There, that is very, very true. It is. Retired Dana, thanks for the 5. Eye drops help with tears. Indeed. They help with dry eyes too. I like them. Yeah. And again, Mark, happy pre birthday. Thank you for the 5 gifted memberships. But happy pre birthday, Mark, too. But you can see again, they put all of this. Again, they made it a hype piece. They made sure that they were hyping everything that was coming up. They made sure to, to try to promote and push this. You even have the way the media spun it was fascinating too. So the Daily Mail, I thought the Daily Mail's article in this was really telling because of the way they do the shots on it, the way they give me a second, pulling this up here. So here's the Daily Mail's coverage, and it did get some attention, but when you look at it, they talk about, oh man, so chic, so everything. And look, they do tight shots in here. They try not to. Is that Eve, by the way? I looked at that. The first thing I thought is that Eve Barlow creeping in the background. Is she back there? Does AH know it? She's like, shh, 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 shh. Eve Voorhees. It's gonna be Friday the 13th, like part 11. Eve Barlow takes a film festival. Shit. It does look like her though. She's like, look at her like that. I mean, oh my god! If that's Eve Barlow, I'm gonna die. I'm so funny though. But you see, I mean, the way that this is promoted, again, I actually think the being late and everything, I think that was a publicity stunt. I very much do. Because I mean, when you look at this, there's no one else to compete. There's no one else to compete with shots or anything else. You have perfect line of sight. I mean, imagine like a photographer trying to do this to JD. You would you'd have throngs of reporters. Like getting near the man was nearly impossible. man, it's like she was assigned somebody. Maybe she was. I mean, the Daily Mail, remember, they're the same place that came out with the headlines of quits Hollywood. Remember the spin to that. That all of that has been about the last few months. What they've been trying to do over the last few months is they're trying to rehab the image. They tried to bury JD at Cannes. And again, I find it fascinating. The man wins his case. He proves to the world what happened. And the media is out here and they attacked the hell out of him. They tried to bury him at Cannes. And meanwhile, they're like, oh, look, so stunning, so beautiful. They were taking pictures of JD's teeth and talking about how, like insults about it and more. Meanwhile, I mean, again, like this, yeah. That's planned stuff. Somebody's you also have time to mug for the camera. I think that's fascinating too. And you can see, so meanwhile, all of this is going on here. So, I mean, along the way, instead of going in, you're already freaking late. Instead of going in, you mug for the camera and stuff. I mean, what is up with that? Talk about, again, disrespectful. You got the lady up here, singing. You have people playing instruments. You have people seated. Oh, well, got to give a little of that photog time. When you look, like I said, then you have photos like this, and people keep saying, "Man, is she drunk or something? Like, what's going on?" I mean, there have been a lot of people that have been asking about that. Is it just the steps and the heels? or is it more? You have her co-stars. I don't know anything about the movie, but the co-stars here. All I could think was run away, dude. Run away. Because you know what? This picture right here scares me for people. One of the things that we heard with the trial and that we heard with testimony is that before film festivals, especially if they focused on anyone else, was the volatility. There was always volatility. It was pointed at JD. Suffering behind the scenes is, I laugh about stuff. I like to make fun, but man, suffering behind the scenes is horrible. It's isolating. You're alone. People understand this. When I look at this picture, I think about every time I see this hype, I think about somebody having their finger cut off and so much else. All of the things they endure behind the scenes and how the media tries to turn this into oh, look at the perfect dress and stuff. It's enraging when you think about that. Like the hypocrisy to it, because we're told by these same outlets that they stand with victims, that they stand with survivors. And yet again, the world saw this and they decided, hey, we went in for this one narrative. We have to continue it. It's nuts. And people point this out too. I mean, again, you see all of what they tried to do with hyping, you see how that's put together. I mean, it's all puff-piece. Like there, again, you can tell where all of this comes in. You can see like how people staging. I mean, it's strange. It's bizarre. They're making it, you know, they're making this a relationship there too. Oh my God. Gonna end your life, baby. Sorry, give me a second. I imagine all the word bubbles I could put on this as a thumbnail. Every time I see pictures like that, I think, thumbnail. That's all I think anymore. Thumbnail say what now? It's like fucking fatal. I'm a boy, your bunny, baby. I'm a boy, your bunny. Oh my God. Bad vibes, things of the 20 off topic. Ocean Gate was millionaires faking their deaths. Ocean? No, I think Ocean Gate, we'll talk about that in a few minutes. We'll talk about the finality to that. I appreciate you mentioning that. I should have put it in the title, should have. Hey, Cats, thanks for the 6 months. Good day, Tug. Good day. I can't do a good day. Good day, mate. I can't do it. Good day, Tug, and all you lovely people. AH was late, hoping to be on time for the applause for the band. Garth did, yes, indeed. You figure you'll be the center of attention, and yet, like I said, look at the way that this is framed there. What is that too? By the way, is that supposed to be natural? What in God's name? Is she gonna pop that leg off or something? She gonna transform? Form of a spousal abuser. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not supposed to say that, am I? Sorry. Robots, they change into trucks. Hey, she changed. No, wait, she never changed at all. My bad. She can't be a transformer, yeah, because she never ever changed. Oh, wait. Did I say that out loud? My bad. It kills me too. There are people out there that say that you owe nicety in some way to these folks. No, do not owe nicety. Again, you look at what these folks did. The nastiness, the vitriol, the reprehensible bullshit that they did. You don't owe nicety in any way. I mean, that's a puff piece and a half. And when you look through the commentary here, these are these are the best rated. So these are the highest rated comments. And you see how people take this. I mean, how people actually feel. This is right here countering the buzz. Dreadnought, thanks to the 5. A moment of silence for the poor Visine bottles that gave their lives to moist her eyes in that sea. I know. So many fallen soldiers there. That's what I learned from. I learned from movies. they call those little discarded crack vials, in movies, dead soldiers. Imagine that with Visine bottles. Oh, the little Visine dead soldiers. Bet AH wishes she had some Visine during the trial. She tried. I mean, she rubbed those eyes. She did all of that. She tried to moist that nose, but she couldn't get that eye to water. But listen to these comments. I mean, these are the highest rated comments here. Assuming everything she accused him of were lies, how did she not get arrested for perjury? She swore under oath to tell the truth and didn't. What's the point of swearing under oath if people can do it anyway with no consequences? And that's actually, that's a good question. That is the $1,000,000 question, in fact. How do you get away? You go into a UK courtroom, since they love to bring up the UK. She's only a witness in the UK, by the way. She wasn't one of the parties. She was a witness, but as a witness, she said that she had donated millions. She lied under oath about other things too. But if you pop on into Twitter, you can see how much time and effort was put into this. I don't care look. Exactly. That's what you should take away from that minute. That whole, oh, I'm fancy free and stuff. Yeah. There's an entire team behind it. And like I said, it's amazing. We watch these same outlets spend weeks trying to destroy JD for everything. He's not we're not talking about a guy that's 20 here. Like, he looks damn well. And the stress, people trying to destroy your life. I mean, come on, man. The guy's he's lived an interesting and a flawed life in some ways, because of substances and more. But at his age, I mean, damn, I hope I look that good. I very much. I hope that I can present to the world. The media looks at every single flaw for somebody like JD. Again, they zoomed in on teeth to make fun of his fucking teeth. They couldn't talk about anything else. These outlets that have gone in hardcore, like, they show you how they stand with survivors as they mock a survivor's teeth because they have nowhere else. They'll be like, AH looks happy. Well, look at JD's teeth. It was like, what? Like, what is that? And then you have the other side of it. I mean, that's just, like I said, it's absolutely unreal the way that stuff came in. From One Adam, what's up? Hey, thanks for the 10 there. That ring on her left finger looks like JD's wedding ring he wore in the Russian dinner photograph. I've not. Somebody look at that. Look at is that actually one of the if she's wearing any jewelry that belongs to that, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. We saw what we saw from the trial, but beyond that, we saw the obsession with JD, the messages. Some of them were not so slight, where anybody can see it. Just think you could get away with that. I wouldn't be surprised anymore. So that, though, I'll leave that to eagle-eyed people. If that is indeed true, people do a comparison there, let me know, because especially, I mean, what? This is the same person that when they were when they were hiding out in Spain, remember they made sure to use an alias, and that alias, it very much looked like a shot at JD. It never ends. It will never end. And the problem is that eventually everybody, myself included, you get tired of talking about all of them. And that's the thing. They're playing a long game, hoping that at the end of the day they can rewrite anything. They've put out giant or disinformation threads. Like, they'll take pieces of evidence. They'll clip out parts, like the threats that AH makes. They'll clip it out so you just get a reaction. They clip down some of the evidence where you had the quote unquote headbutt. They like to say, "Oh, he headbutted," and yet she in that clip says that never happened. I mean, it's unreal. On a long enough timeline, they plan on playing a long game for a war. It is a war on anyone that saw the truth, because ultimately it is not a war on just JD. or anyone that stood with them or anyone else. I mean, the long game, I'm sure everybody gets thrown under that bus. I'm sure that everyone is going to have that. But it's a war on truth. But continuing this, so yet again, little Miss Deceitful is trying to portray a narrative that is way off the truth. And I repeat, the truth, not her truth, whatever that means. She wants the world to think she's living a carefree life in Spain, when the truth is she's up to her eyeballs in litigation. Yes, so the trial itself, she has another trial going on. DUI guy has done a great job, by the way. I want to give him a plug. He's actually going to be meeting JD. Not, he's going to a concert. He's overseas right now. He's going to be meeting, so props to him. It's also like a birthday present to him. So, but he's done a great job of keeping up with the insanity that is going on. I plan on doing a catch up stream for that. There's been a lot going on, but I plan on catching that stuff up too. But he's done a great job if you want to keep up with that, and you should, because it's crazy stuff. But up to litigation, desperate for fame, and completely unemployable beyond the local Marco. And that's true. You can have, if you think Ezra Miller was a litmus test for what companies could get away with, as far as turning on your customer. And I have people all the time that tell me, well, the things that happened with Ezra Miller, many of those are just accusations. Now, well, we saw the video of the choking. We saw other things that happened, but let's just assume everything was an accusation. Let's just assume that, okay? The issue was these folks, they decided that they would cancel other people. Cancellation rolls back around. I mean, you're down with canceling other people. Yeah, you yourself will get canceled in one day. And Ezra Miller, he didn't get canceled through Warner. They decided to stand with him. They decided to put that money with him, but customers didn't stand with it. And if you think that's bad, Warner Brothers is going to have a really interesting wake up call when Aquaman rolls around. You can tell they are not trying to spend any money on promoting that movie. They are doing their damnedest not to promote it at all, because promotion costs so much in this day and age. I mean, you're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. So, I mean, they've been pretending that movie doesn't exist. They're hoping, somehow they're going to get bank on it. And they've admitted that Jason Momoa is not to blame. They've given him his intellect, and he's not, by the way. Jason Momoa will say some dumb things sometimes. I mean, he's done that, but I think he spoke the truth. Like, I like Jason Momoa as an actor. As a person, I don't expect to like an actor, okay? I don't like celebrity or fame. I think that's poisonous. But as an actor, I really like him. As a person, he seems to try to do okay. Life is complicated. If everything you ever said goes under a microscope, you're going to find something people say that is a screw up. But his real statements were following JD during the trial, continuing to follow JD, making sure, that even with all the public scrutiny and pressure these crazies put on while the movie's coming up, I want you to think about the statement that is, especially about Aquaman and that franchise. No matter the spin or anything else, there's your message. Like I said, you look at how people respond with that. She really does love herself. JD has bounced back really well, better than she ever will. Why is she still being welcomed back? That's a very good question. I'm surprised she has a career to go back to after the court case. People need to remember, by the way, when they see this is not a new movie. In the Fire was recorded, or made rather, before. And there will be some small places, controversy, period. For little indies out there, they'll try to grab onto anything. They will, for sure. So you will have some employment opportunities that'll come up. I mean, they're not going to just fade away because if they think it's sellable at all. The thing is, when you get into real budgets, if we're talking about a sci-fi channel budget, for example, versus a Aquaman budget. Yeah, there's where your problem comes in because, if I'm talking about making back tens of thousands of dollars, well, that's a little bit different. If I'm talking about making back millions, that's where you're going to get into your issues. So yeah, is it just me or does she look slightly crazy? What are you talking about? I mean that that looks perfectly normal. Yeah, but I mean, you see comment after comment. I mean, they're not positive. So all the spin to this stuff and Twitter, like I said, Twitter is rife with bots, rife with them. I mean, even the guy who owns the place now, when he was trying to get out of it all, he was like, "Yo, bots," He was willing to admit to 15 to 12 to 15%. So I mean, when you get down to it, I mean that says a lot. There was also something that I was looking for a picture. So I saw this earlier and I was curious about it. I I only saw one person post about it, but somebody posted a picture with what looked like her having a brace on her arm or something. And it's very strange. And they've been going after everybody too as part of this. So check this out. I want to show you something. So Emily D. Baker, of course, targeted by these folks. You also have they've been smearing they've been smearing. Here's Legal Bites. Legal Bites went on Timcast, and Timcast, anybody that they can put in the crosshairs because of this stuff. Apparently Nazi now. I mean, look at this stuff. Here's a photo of Legal Bites on Tim Pool's podcast. Here's a photo of Tim with the red elephants. I believe the saying goes, if there's a Nazi at the table and 10 other people sit there talking to him, you got a table with 11 Nazis. Again, just flagrant as part of this PR dump. Going after, again, it's a revenge thing. Yeah. I mean, look at that. It's nutty. These folks, here's the Emily D. Baker, like going after her again. This account got suspended, by the way, because they went out and as Cat Tin Barge backed this account, by the way. So when I show these randos and you're like, who exactly? Yeah, Cat Tin Barge applauding this account. This account decided it would go out and it would call any supporter of JD that was non-white. Specifically, I believe they were aiming it at anyone that was black. I believe this statement went. They were calling it a minstrel show. I mean, they were making over and the whole listen and believe thing is anybody that goes out and promotes this idea that they're fighting off the ism, they're standing against racism and stuff. Listen and Believe is a racist institution. It is beyond racist because you not only have you have women that are accused, falsely accused in some instances, but predominantly you're talking about men. And out of convictions in that, you are talking about an overwhelming number of those convictions are innocent black men. That is a proven item. That is proven. You can look up studies on it. It's insane. Listen and Believe. It aimed at the first people that were targeted in that. You were talking about young Native American men and especially young black men. Like anybody can be targeted, but again, as far as the legal system is concerned, and it happens through now, all of these so-called advocates for combating racism, it's just like them advocating for so-called victims. Like it's not real. It's not real. But you can see them taking shots at Emily D. Baker. They're calling Emily D. Baker like a monster and everything. It's crazy, I mean, look at this. It's so nuts. Between this and Emily D. Baker's racism, I think we know why these grifters lied to her followers about the Depp Heard trial in Marilyn Manson. Again, trust you will be dealt with lawsuit. These are threats. I mean, these people are nuts. Trust you will be dealt with. Like again, these folks, they keep talking about how they're foot soldiers for the cause, and they keep talking about things like, hey, they need to go, they need to get a gun. Standing up is not enough. They get suspended. They have 4 dozen other accounts. It's absolute lunacy. And it never freaking, I mean, it is unreal. Like it's also, it's unreal seeing people like Emily D. Baker targeted. Like that's wrong. Targeting, I mean, Lacobites, not, come on, man. That's absolutely crazy. But the thing that worries me when I see statements like that, again, I want to put this up for you because you see stuff like this. This has become the norm. I mean, just drink this statement in while I read it to you. Defending AH is not enough anymore. I need a gun. Like, you know exactly what that's advocating. And there are hundreds of these weirdos. I mean, they advocate for doxing, for harassment, for targeting folks. And now they're talking about, well, defending isn't anymore. Like, that's crazy. I hope people out there, so they were with the Emily D. Baker thing. I actually, just chopping any jokes or anything for just a moment. When I saw what they were talking about her family. Like, I don't know anything about her family. I try not to, unless there's a discussion of something, I try not to I try to look at the person in front of me. I try not to focus or fixate on any of their family members. I don't even talk about AH's kid. I try not to make that, because at the end of the day, what they're talking about is collateral damage that they don't really treat as collateral damage. Collateral damage assumes that it's unintended. And their collateral damage is very real, in my opinion. They were taking aim when they were doing all of this stuff, when they were talking about all of this. They were talking about appearances for Emily D. Baker. They were talking front and center, while this kind of shit right here is front and center. And again, if you got any question about this having backing, look who's front and center right there. NBC is down with the cause. Every time you see this shit, you see this kind of stuff here. The message has mainstream backing. And while this discussion is going on, again, you have Emily D. Baker. Oh, man, they're going to do something about Emily D. Baker. No. So being real for a second, like I said, I worry sometimes about, like, I don't worry about my safety or mine's safety because I'm strapped. I'm not. These weirdos, we live in the deep South. I'm not worried about them, but I do worry about folks that are going to conventions to speak and more, because Emily left this stuff behind. Emily's good people too. At the end of the day, they were targeting Emily because she said they didn't like her opinions on certain things with the Rittenhouse trial. They tried to target off of that. I don't even know her opinion on the Rittenhouse trial. But as a lawyer, when you're looking at that and you're talking about that, again, people can have their own opinions. They can look at it however they want. I mean, they can have that. And they were talking about politics, but then they started talking about her family. And that, like I said, that's crazy, especially with mainstream backing. Legal buy again. I I I don't I like Emily. And I've had I've had interaction with legal bots. There was good. I've there has been some drama there. I'm not bringing that up for any reason, by the way. Not saying anything about that. Just saying I legal bites and I've never really had like rolling problems. I covered some drama that happened with some stuff because I thought it was worth talking about for a hot minute as far as banning and stuff. But Legal Bites seems like good people. And even if you disagree vehemently with what their statements are, that has nothing to do with their fucking families or their safety. So I worry about these people's safety. I do sometimes because again, these are dangerous people. They're nutty, and they're being prodded by some crazy institutions. Cat, thanks for the 5. They're cuckoos indeed. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, right? Retired Nana, thanks for the 5 there. These people in jail because they're a guilt, domestic terrorism. Well, it is crazy. Like I mean, the threats are. I mean, just it's gone beyond. Oh, well, I hope, this person has, again, where I was talking about, man, they almost cringed me to death. They were like, oh, I hope that person dies. It goes beyond that. That's not a threat, by the way. That's something I'd laugh at when they do it. I'll monetize them for it. But this stuff is a threat. It is, and it's back. Heather Boo, thanks for the 5 there. So tough and brave online. People be scared, but I can't stand keyboard monkeys. Grow a pair. Indeed, what worries me about stuff like this is that you're obviously mentally unhinged people. I read that. You remember we went over an entire thread where a lady talked about how she had destroyed her life, her family, how her family was worried about her. They were calling out the idea that she was just unhealthy fixated. She was out there being a quote unquote defender of justice. She was calling herself a foot soldier and more. When people are that committed, there is going to be a small subsection of them that may indeed be dangerous. And that's where I worry about because, people like JD, I do worry about his safety too, just to be honest. I do. But at least he has bodyguards and stuff. They don't focus on them, they have focused on everyone, everybody. Remember, these are the same people that went after a stenographer. They put it out that the stenographer, not a judge, not the jury, not witnesses, but the person that transcribes the trial. She ends up picking up her stuff from she's an independent, by the way. She's not part of the court system. She was agreed upon by both parties, but because she picked up her stuff and said some stuff like with JD, a passing commentary there. They went after and they targeted that person. I mean, to target everyone, celebrities more. But when they go down the rabbit hole of this, the thing, like I said, that's worrisome. Most people that live stream are you're just talking about regular people out there. You're not talking about like for myself, I'm set up and I have an office area, my house, everything's above me here. But after a live stream, I just go about my day. You're not running around with bodyguards or anything else. But these people are fixated to the point. Again, Emily D. Baker hasn't been talking about this trial. She wasn't saying anything about it. She's been covering a lot of other stuff. But they still even fixate on her. They go back. They want to damage. At best, they want to damage and pay back, which shows you how unhealthy this is. Because we're not talking, again, about witnesses or jury members, which that's crazy anyway. We are talking about going down the rabbit hole far enough. They want to blame the commentators, people that talked about this and had opinions. And Emily Baker was very like for her, and really Legal Bites. So Legal Bites, the way I know because I watched Legal Bites do this. When she was prepping to see what would go on with the trial, she interviewed a lot of people. Some people, were very pro. Some people were, both of them are a problem. I don't know if there were any anti JDs. I didn't catch it, but she went in, did interviews, talked about documentation and more. Went down that rabbit hole. Because of that, they found that she had gone on Timcast. I mean, freaking with Tim again. This is a large platform. Like for me, first of all, I doubt I'd be invited anyway. But for me, I I don't like I go on live streams normally with friends. That's about it. And I use a cartoon avatar. But for other people, I understand why they go out and they do that. And to be honest, too, all the people they like to call, Nazis and stuff, at the end of the day, you can hate the shit out of places like, say, a Fox News. But at the end of the day, places like CNN, the Washington Post, those are the places that tried to bury people, not just JD, not just witnesses, again, jury members or more, but they tried to bury people all the way down the line. So, yeah, they can call them whatever. And I mean, these are commentators that they disagree with politically. Like, it's so disgusting, but they turn it into part of the rank and file. JD himself is not a conservative. Like, there's the kicker in that. And they never asked themselves, why is it when all of this was covered, why is it that so many people overwhelmingly backed him after they had seen the evidence? And that was because, well, it was pretty cut and dry. When you started comparing the stories, when you actually did research, as the tales got bigger, more extravagant, you could tell that a lot of this stuff, it wasn't misinformation. It was disinformation. I mean, it showed. But nah, it's got to become so the deflection point is no longer an item of give me 1 second here. I'm looking for something. The deflection point is no longer talking about incels and more. I mean, they try that. They say everyone. I've never understood that, by the way. An incel. If you don't understand what that is, they like to call people incels. But an incel is an involuntary celibate. Somebody that the involuntary comes in there. These are people. They're trying to say, yeah, they they can't have relationships with people. They like to point that at men, but they talk about like the ladies sit back JD too. And many people have kids, families. Also, the insult there. Many people that backed are overwhelmingly domestic abuse survivors. You see a lot of them. I mean, there's been this strange. I mean, they'll spin anything in. Like we've seen the Kesha Dr. Luke stuff. I don't know if you heard about this, the settlement with that, but you see, like for spin, like they put that in. Both Dr. Luke and JD decided to settle because it's like, wait a minute, they didn't settle lawsuits. Are you a moron or something? I mean, they didn't settle. At the end, the appeal process that would have gone on for another year or two, they put that out of the way. But I mean, it's just anything that any kind of buzzword, anything that can be grasped on. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. But again, why does this continue? I think it's pretty clear. Now, as far as going after people is concerned, too, I wanted to show something because Bouzy for the last, well, really it's been for days now. Boozy's actually been making threats of doxing, and he tried again. Now you got to remember that Bouzy built a platform on supposedly being anti-harassment, right? I mean, this guy is supposed to be he's supposed to be against all of the negativity that comes up online. This has been him though, and remember that he already doxed. He doxed the guy that brought up the fact that you had security leaks within Spoutable. That Spoutable was built on an $89 Russian Twitter knockoff. Like that guy, he went after his job, went after his life, his livelihood, trying to destroy that. Well, you see him. I mean, he was talking about doxing and he followed through, by the way, but he screws this up, which is the funny part of it. But it's crazy too. So he's like, nobody's scared of you. And yes, one day soon, I will reveal some of your names on a medium that will get the most visibility. AKA, he's saying, I'm going to dox you on Twitter. I also like the shot at Spoutable with that too. You decided to target me, my family, and even Spoutable users. So anybody that has any commentary whatsoever, anybody that does not walk lockstep. This includes, by the way, this is included. There's I want to show you a thread where he goes after just basic users, but he said, "Oh, don't whine about doxing." So he's telling you, I'm going to dox people. He made it very clear. He's just setting the stage for it. And then he tried to do it. And well, he didn't do it well. So here's him actually following through with this threat. Here's a photo of someone who is part of a group that has been targeting me for over a year. Part of a group. Now, his quote unquote group, by the way, he puts this again. This is not the person he thought he was aiming at either. They put up a picture being like, yeah, that's not me. But look at what's attempted. It's not the fuck up's funny. Him accidentally, whoops, got the wrong person. That's funny. But the intention to do damage is crazy. So if you look at their timeline, it's mostly about me. So why me? Because my company had the nerve. My company, by the way, that's Bouzy. Bouzy decided that he was going to, as he says, he put out a report about trolls with AH. He targets people in the name of AH, taking money for it. People talk about him and they talk about, he has Spoutable. It got coverage in places like Wired and more, which was funny, by the way, with it there. But if anybody even remotely talks about anything that goes on there, this is what they get. And, he tries to make it sound like, you've got to remember, like, it hasn't been just folks like this. It's been anyone that has dared to open their mouth and to talk about issues. So check this out. This is nuts. 1 second. I think it's so crazy. So look at this here. So here's him going after a Spoutable user because they were like, hey, there's not enough traffic here. They were talking to him and they said, I still have 38,000 followers on Twitter and I have 88 on Spoutable. They're talking about the amount of again, like this is a concern for people. Like, why would people switch over to a dead platform? I mean, what's the incentive there? Like they're saying, there's a problem with your platform, and as the person that runs the platform, he could have handled this in a million different ways. He could have talked about how, hey, we've got our app launching, we're doing this and that. There's promotion, hang with us there, because we're right here in our infancy. I mean, anyway, you could have made this positive, but just like the folks that brought up problems with Spoutable, like their TOS, or people that have talked about their interactions, anything, it has to be like this. So, hi, says to this person, I have 188 followers, and the last time you spouted, you have 188, and this last time you spouted was in April, of course. However, when you did spout, you received more likes and echoes than 188 followers than you do with 338,000. They got, by the way, five likes on something. 5. Like, that's the shot there. You got 5. People who do not follow someone who isn't active. Okay. So he keeps going. So they're like, yeah, I'm a legacy. I'm a previously legacy verified account. Now sent to the doldrums. Bouzy, I don't know what you're trying to do here, but I've been plugging Spoutable as much as possible, but few people I know have joined. I'm at a loss why you would target me. And again, there's any time he could have deflected away from this stuff. Any time whatsoever, he could have been like, yo, again, this could have been salvageable. You could have said, no, what I'm trying to say is our users are active. Everyone there, yes, we have people, but again, the user base Their interaction, it's more viable than that. He could have gone with that, but instead, he keeps going back after them and again. And they're like, yo, I can't say that I appreciate this very much. I don't appreciate you going after me. And what happens as it continues to go forward? I mean, it's just so here's the interaction as it goes to Spoutable. Check this out. I mean, you have stuff like this, by the way. Rarely am I speechless. Oh, wow. Well, I lost so much traffic, by the way, Bouzy. I will tweet, spout, post, swear, engage, or not engage as much as little I want. I can wherever I want. You can effing deal with it. Hey, I can do this how I want there. And it just keeps going after this person. And it's like this kind of stuff. I will make this clear for the folks who can't seem to stop obsessing over Spoutable. Again, these are users. These are users of the platform. No one gives a shit. Spoutable users don't give a shit. My followers don't give a shit. Frankly, I don't give a shit. Don't give a shit about Detectify, 30 tweet dissertations. So please do us all a favor and F off and keep effing off. Again, F off until you come to a gate with a sign saying you can't F off past here. Again, you're not welcome on the platform. You're not welcome around the ego because you question that. Like, why would anyone use platforms that do this? I don't get it. I mean, this is the same guy, by the way, that is supposed to be somebody brought up Ocean Gate. Okay. This is the same guy that had the audacity to put something like this up. Dead people. They're dead by now. This is afterwards. And he's like, folks are thrill seeking in a submarine that looks like they were built by high school students with metal garbage cans and duct tape. The same folks would hesitate to get on an elevator if a black man is on it. Now, you notice he shut down his comments there, too, because it's even a bridge too far for even some of his hardcore political simping audience. Because he just accused a bunch of people that died tragically of being fucking racist, because that's the engagement rate. That's what works and continues to work. It's just like the people accusing people of misogyny more, but it's a disgusting, vile way of doing things. Again, I'm not. A lot of people have thrown out edgy humor and more. I'm not going after people for having. I find it to be tactless in these situations, but that's. I mean, again, you have the freedom of speech. Accusing these folks, though, of being racist. I mean, what the fuck? But that's the go-to. I mean, that is. Some people have a very limited bag of tricks, and that is part of the bag of tricks, I suppose. Going in and what kind of fucking mind do you have to point the finger at everyone in the world and say, oh my God, everyone in the world, there's some kind of a monster. By the way, that doxing, so check this out. Bouzy keeps going with this. So the person that he tried to dox with that. It's like, hey, just a PSA. The photo on Bouzy's post is not me. Remember, he did the same. So the genius here, you remember he went after Nate the lawyer and he got a bunch of stuff wrong. This person's like, yo, you're targeting the wrong person here. That's not me. This is my face. That person isn't me. And Bouzy just doubles down. My stalker are tweeting photos of themselves to prove they are not the person in the photo I tweeted earlier. Now, why would someone think the photo of her if she isn't stalking me? Why? Because you've been trying to dig up information. You made it very clear in fucking in item after item. And this stuff it's public. You're tweeting on a fucking public platform. People are allowed to disagree with you. If you don't like it, go the fuck on to Spoutable. You built you an echo chamber. Why the fuck aren't you on there doing your own thing? Why? Because it is a failure, an abject failure, and you know it. The media knows it. They've called you out. Every time they do it, your happy ass has to go over to Twitter and attack people and try to ruin their lives. You wanted to be your own king of your little fiefdom, but unfortunately, when you did that, it didn't work out very well because the very audience that you cultivated in that, the very audience that you promised shit, they don't service your ego enough. And when they don't service your fucking ego enough, you have to try to destroy people's lives. And that's nuts. Why would somebody post this, by the way? Because they're trying to keep you from aiming hundreds of thousands of people in the wrong person's direction. Like you pulled up a photograph and people are going to find that photograph. And if it is indeed the wrong person, you've aimed an army of fucking people, politically motivated psychopaths. People that are, I mean, again, you see the statements of the AHers, they follow these weirdo whack jobs. You've seen the Sussex Squad BS. I mean, these people, they're willing to do, like, what? They're talking about getting guns and shit. And you think, like, the PSA in that is to possibly save someone's life. Because this stuff has real world consequences. And you notice, by the way, that Twitter does fuck all about this stuff. I mean, it's just nuts, though. It's nuts, and it keeps. I mean, you get in these weird situations where you're like, hey, I feel like I need to clarify this because if I don't clarify, somebody else might get hurt. And he made it very clear, by the way, on the, oh, well, how do you know that's about me? Yeah, he kind of made it clear who he's taking aim at. Just to say, he kind of made it clear too. I mean, you can see, bam, you got that. Chris Love, thanks for the two. Bouzy has the mistaken idea that all PR is good PR. Yeah, yeah, it's especially for your platform when you're talking about it. Yeah, you're going to build an echo chamber, but again, the echo chamber is dead. The man is still using Twitter. He's not using Spoutable. That is the biggest cell phone that you could have. Heather, thanks for the 5. Bouzy, race baiting all the wrong ways. He blames every person. He points out his lies as racist. His ego can't even stand the smallest things. That's indeed true. But you can see, proud, multiracial American. Oh, got to be a monster. Got to be. And again, oh, they have. Look at this. This is the promise to docs. This account spends several hours a day, 7 days a week, tweeting about me. How many hours do you think it takes to make a tweet? I mean, really, like when I see something, I think it's funny. I'll do a screenshot and post it. Like, how much time do you think? It's just like videos, like today's video, for example. I saw that footage had come up. I was like, so I type in Amber Heard and I find 3 videos. I go in, I recorded. I didn't put any background to it at all. And I mean, how much time do these folks think is invested there? Even like for myself, for that. Now, there's other stuff like if I have to investigate something or look into it, it'll take time. But when people are just tweeting, how much time do you really think's in that? They're not spending hours. They just look at the insanity someone posts. And some people did indeed investigate Spoutable. They were curious, about the safety, about all the issues that came up. And they found something to put in there. But this person responds to anyone talking about me. There are approximately a dozen accounts similar to this, and I will start releasing the names behind each of those accounts too. It's time. So, again, promises of doxing. Like that's supposed to be against Twitter TOS too, but but I mean this is a person that runs their own platform. That would be like Elon Musk going out and doxing. They can tweet whatever they want. They just can't do it anonymously. Yeah. Again, you see front and center exactly what these folks stand for. I'm at like if I took this type of approach, could you imagine what would happen? It would be unreal. I would get buried for it. I would have no more social media. I would have I wouldn't have brigading. It would go well beyond brigading. Like I said, I would get buried for it. But those folks, man, totally different, right? Totally different indeed. So Give me 1 second. I want to find one other thing too. There's one other thing I want to talk about today too. And I'd be curious about it because I haven't done a lot of investigation into this, but this has turned into a insane story about a YouTuber. We're talking about a female YouTuber here. So I found this to be, give me 1 second. I may robot for a second. If I do, I apologize. I'm pulling up an article. So I want to show you something real quick. Now, I don't watch every freaking YouTuber and their mother. I don't know who half the YouTubers are out there. But this situation has become crazy. Like, this is absolutely nuts. So, Colleen Ballinger, she a successful YouTuber here, has had article at that. These are just accusations, okay? That is something I have to make very clear with this. Some of these, I mean, it's gotten crazy. And I haven't looked at, so there's supposed to be tweets and more. I'm sorry, messages, message exchanges and more. I haven't looked at those. So I do not know what was exchanged in that. She also, interestingly, after the accusations came out, like she's gone silent. And many people do. One of the things that's a poison, and I'm not commenting on this particular instance here, because again, this has just grown and grown and grown, gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. But one of the things that people they expect an automatic response. Like I would have an automatic response. It would be "F you say," because that ain't real. I'm not talking to anybody behind the scenes about any kind of shit. Like that. That's nuts. But some people are going to respond legally. That's not a comment on this particular instance. It's just the way people assume that guilt. And I have not done my work on this yet. So again, I'm not saying anything pro or con with it, but some of this stuff is nuts. So let's just listen to some of this article here. Again, female accusation. So on YouTube, Colleen appeared at first to be a positive role model of kids, built a giant platform, boasted nearly 20 million followers across multiple YouTube channels. So they talk about singing, childlike, adult speech impediment, da 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 da. She's supposed to be body positive, all of this stuff. She's supposed to be an LGBT plus ally, body positive, advocates for the sick, but off camera, they veer into the inappropriate. Now, they do interviews about this. One of these interviews is some of this stuff, again, the accusation with it. Wow. So Adam McEntry discovered Miranda Sings, 2012, 9 years old, creates an account, 2013 on Twitter, dedicates all his time, goes through that. Now this doesn't look good. Especially like there's supposed to be confirmation that, again, there's a video link went through, but 3 years later, 2016, that pays off. At 13 years old, he interacts with his idol when noticed a funny comment made during a YouTube live. At one point, she said that a few lucky fans would have some of her ugly and unused clothes, and they were one of that. Soon after, this person claims he received a pair of her underwear in the mail, including a bra and panties at 13. And in a 2020 video, it says in brackets here, the Ballinger confirmed that she sent McIntyre a bra and underwear and said the move was completely stupid of her. Like that's not good, man. Soon after that, they began talking on a more intimate level, the accusations say. They would bring up sex and conversations and more at 14 and 15. And they had a group chat, Colleenie's Weenies. Now, the crazy thing of all of this is how it goes forward, because according to these folks, they were weaponized to attack her ex-husband with accusations. So if this turns out to be true, if there are freaking this is how the crazy accusation culture works. So about again, I'm curious. I want to see more on this. I want to see all of the tweet because let's listen to this there. About a week later, Honor and Evans announced their divorce, separate YouTube videos. She didn't say anything publicly about alleged emotional abuse. Instead, she called on her fans to remain calm and respectful to Evans. But this person here said he and the rest of those weenies were never told to stand down. Instead, they mobilized as her de facto public relations, going on gossip websites and comment sections to defend her reputation and attack Evans amidst the divorce. Quote, it was a weekly, if not daily, occurrence when she would come into the group chat seeking validation, telling us that Josh was abusive, that Josh screamed at her, that she gave Josh everything, and Josh is running a hate campaign on her. The connotation was for us to go and attack Josh and for us to tell the public the truth because she was telling us that he was abusing her. So we had to go defend her publicly. But she said, but she never said anything publicly. So amongst the members there was another 16. They became a personal keyboard warrior. I felt like a bodyguard, they said. It sounds so stupid. This is so embarrassing to talk about, but I'd be like, y'all are wrong about her. She never cheated on her husband, anything. They said somebody negative, they would go and do the opposite. So they talk about, her coming in, her doing quote unquote trauma dumps. These kids are in class. They're DMing her in class on the iPad, talking about her abusive ex-husband. I was so involved in this woman's life. It's embarrassing to look back on. There were some days on a school night, I would be up till 4 a.m. trying to calm her down and give her advice. It was a private thing. In an interview with HuffPost, Evans said that her fans started sending him death threats after the divorce, but he didn't know that the fans were waging a secretive gossip campaign against him on her behalf until much later, when fans sent him screenshots of the chats. Quote, it was very eye-opening to see that this was the route she was going to take. She was going to use them to be the voice for her so that she doesn't say anything, so it doesn't come back to something she said online publicly. He also denied being emotionally abusive. She would equate me having issues with some of her behaviors to I was emotionally abusing her. And I was like, how do you jump from one to the other? People have arguments, people have disagreements. To say I'm emotionally abusive, you can't take those words back, especially when you let it out in online spaces. And it just snowballed into something bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, she has since publicly apologized to him for a role in the smear. I'm sorry, he rather, I said she. He, the person that's making these accusations, I spent years just coming at this man and attacking this man. He doesn't deserve anything that came his way. Now, how many times have you seen this already? We've seen the weaponization of simps by people like Barlow. Even Barlow did the same fucking thing. Behind the scenes, you hear about the head pads. They were talking about how every day, so I did a video not too long about this, where every single day, according to one of the accounts, Barlow would go in, she would post about daily updates with AH. And they said, well, that's her trying to insert herself. No, that's waging a PR war where you can send people out to destroy other fucking people's lives. They're doing it daily. They're trying to make it, they're giving this proximity. This is why, at the end of the day, this is one of those reasons why I am always hesitant about meeting and greeting and stuff. I it's not that I would think that people that wanna talk to you or meet you, or whatever. I'm not talking about supporters. I'm talking about celebrity, with meeting celebrities. But I want to be able to cover the information, so I don't really get in. I don't like I said, I don't like celebrity. And you can see the misuse of this stuff. We've seen, again, huge examples of that. We saw Barlow front and center. She was blamed by her own freaking supporters of doing this mess. What's up, Heather? Thanks for live your life, be happy, leave children alone. And I just maybe I look at social media wrong. I talk a little bit to some people because I like some people. People like I don't think she'll care I say this. Pam, for example. Pam has created a couple of really cool things. I've always appreciated that, but I'm not going to go out and emotionally dump on people. It's going to be positive stuff or discussing like her projects or anything because I like that. There are a few people, again, like Ray, for example. We talk about stuff there. They become a friend. You talk about, life things, but you're not this way. Like to put together a group chat with the express intent to target and to use proximity. That would be the same. That would be like can you imagine how this would have been covered if it were exposed that a Depp had a online group where a person that was with him all the time did updates behind the scenes and they basically weaponized those again and again. How do you think that would have gone over? Because I know how that would have gone over. I know exactly how that would have gone over, but we saw that happening, and we've seen examples of that again and again. So, with this, regardless of the accusation, again, I'm curious to see those screenshots. I want to see how that happens, but I do know that this stuff very much does exist. Because, like I said, the people that once backed Eve Barlow, the simps that have turned on her lately, and they have turned on her big time lately. I mean, it's been fascinating to watch. I never thought that I would see Barlow eaten alive by these folks, and yet, I mean, when they turned, they didn't just turn; they revealed so much about what was going on behind the scenes. Like I said, she was sitting around, apparently having conversations. This is a let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so if you didn't see this, I want you to see what I'm mentioning here. Give me 1 minute. Just a second there. All right. So here you had this is what I mean. Okay. I found it. Just give me a second. So here you had the same thing. This was a discussion about Eve Barlow. And, all these simps were saying, oh, well, she's using her proximity, to set up AH. Yeah. So look what they're telling you that. Longer than that, she's been chatting with Amber Heard fans, giving live updates on Amber day to day, using access to Amber as a bartering chip with randoms online since before the UK trial. So we're talking about for years here. It kills me. These folks, they talk about like me covering this and making videos. Like they're directly accessing folks like Eve Barlow behind the scenes. They've been doing it since before the UK trial. They have been used. Hey, just 1 second. Hey, what are you doing, baby? What you doing? You got some cheese?
Yep.
Yep.
You need two.
I
One.
Okay, well, I'll open you 2, okay?
Okay.
Did you close the refrigerator door?
Yep.
Okay, that's very good. You want to say hi?
Hi.
Yeah, how old are you? Are you 3?
Yep.
Yeah, you 3. You having a good day? You are? Okay, well, here, I'll open you 2 cheese things for a snack.
Two snacks.
Yeah, you can have 2 cheese things for a snack. Here you go. I'll be done in about 5 minutes, okay? You want to go upstairs? And then yeah, well, you want to talk for just a minute? Okay, you can come here for just a minute. Let's talk for a second here. Okay, come here. Let me take down this picture here, okay?
I love you.
I love you too. Have you been a good girl today?
Yeah.
Are you even watching Paw Patrol?
Yeah.
Oh man, what does Paw Patrol say?
It says Chase says on the case.
Chase is on the case, right? That?
Is that you and Sissy?
That's me. Yeah, that's my picture. You want to see other picture?
Uh-huh.
Look, I can change. She's talking about my avatar. Look, my picture is changing. Look, I got a hat. See my hat? Is that funny? Look, I got. Oh, look, I got gold teeth. It's a platinum teeth. You like that? Look, I'm a pickle. Oh no, look, I'm a pickle now.
Get
Is that crazy?
You get ghosted like a pickle.
Yeah, is that a pickle with my mask on? You like that?
Look at that. That's you.
Yeah, that is me. That is. Is it cool?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you like that?
That's you.
Yeah.
That's you.
Yeah, that's me.
And that's Sissy up there.
Oh yeah, she's talking about the side images. She can see like where I have loaded in stuff into the space, so she can see the little
That's
umbrella girl.
you and that's
Yeah. So what do you?
Where's me?
So
There's
you?
me right there.
Yeah, that's you too. Oh man. Yeah.
Where's me?
Uh huh.
Where's me?
I know. I like it. So
Where's me?
where's you? Look, you got your painting on the wall and everything else.
No.
You love it. You know. So are you gonna go watch some more Paw Patrol? You want to watch a movie tonight?
Hi.
Well, there's somebody. Look, they said, "Hey, oh man, look, Rachel. Can you say thank you, Rachel?" She said $2 for you. $2. She said that's for candy. Yeah, that's your favorite, right? Candy.
I want to get off.
Huh?
I want to get off.
Yep.
All
right.
on you.
Well, here, jump down for a minute. We'll watch a movie in a little bit, okay?
I just watched
All right.
to you.
Hey.
Just sitting right there.
Yeah. Well, we'll watch a movie in a little bit, okay?
I can't.
All right. Here, go upstairs. Go.
Okay.
Yeah, baby. What's up?
I want some milk today.
You want what now?
Milk today.
Okay. Well, here, you can have that. You take that with you, okay? There you go. And we will get us some popcorn later and watch a movie. Yeah. Does that sound fun?
I'm going to cook it.
Huh?
I'm going to cook it.
Yeah, I'm going to cook it. I'm not going to give us raw popcorn. Am I going to cook it? Oh, look. Hey, can you say thank you to More?
Thank you.
They sent you $2 for candy, too. My goodness, you're going to have so much candy. I know. It's crazy. Ha, ha, ha. All right. Hey, go up and I'll make you some popcorn a little bit. Okay? That's so funny, though. Be careful on the steps, okay? All right. Oh, okay. Let me finish this thought and then I'm out of here. All right. So let me pull this up real quick. Like I said, I want to finish this thought and then I'm going to jump today. Here we are. So the idea, again, weaponization, before the UK trial, and then when she was exposed as a moron by most of the internet, she weaponized her access to Amber and tried to get fans she was chatting with to come to her defense. So again, it's the same idea. It's what I wanted to put there. Heather, thanks for the dentist. Indeed. Oh man, she yeah, she brought me a bunch of cheese. She likes she likes those little snacks. They have like a little kid snacks. And I let her have one in the day. So she didn't have one earlier. So it's like 8. I'm like, yeah, I guess you can have one. Then we'll have some popcorn. But anyway, I think what we've seen, we see more and more examples, though, of people that have weaponized just some craziness. And again, in this situation that we were discussing, you see it talked about, and we know it happens. But the crazy thing, like I said, that YouTuber that is being blamed currently, they supposedly used an army of people to accuse another person. And that has eventually led to they themselves being accused of some heinous stuff. Like, isn't it strange, And people joined in that crusade too. That's why that was one of, so people asked me about Steven Crowder, for example. Steven Crowder was going, through a divorce. Like, people divorce, it happens, but Steven Crowder is going through a divorce, and people were asking me my opinion on it, and that's not something we have the information. We saw a one video come up. People were talking about that. He made comments about it publicly. with that coming up. I thought, man, people don't really know what's going on there. It's the same thing we saw, like people like AA. The stuff, it either unintentionally gets involved in the media or intentionally, but then you find out behind the scenes. Sometimes, I'm not saying this about Steven Crowder, by the way. Like, I haven't done any real look into it since, but I saw a place covering his divorce. They went in, to the courtroom, covered the divorce itself, and I thought, well, that's crazy. And we've seen that happen before. Again, 2016, we watched leverage a divorce proceeding, leverage it and say, look at what happened to me. And it's just unreal. Some of it is absolutely unreal. What's up, Sandy? Thanks for the 5 there. Daddy's a bad girl. Yeah, she still tells me. So she'll say, my daughter, she understands, like, yes, ma'am, yes, sir. But in the house, and she says, yes, ma'am, to, like, to other people, she says, yes, ma'am, to me. So I'll be like, now you can't get into that. You understand? She'll be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And it's cute. At 3, it's very cute. It's funny. But yeah, she calls me my bag. She'd be like, Daddy, you're a bad girl. I'll be like, why am I a bad girl? I don't know. Okay. Jonathan thinks of the 10. I stop everything for my girls too. Yeah, they have free entry. Like, down here, I have some steps where they come down, and I mean, if they want, they come down. These conversations that we have, I believe they're important. I believe that they protect not only people in the now, but they protect people in the future. As you grow up, you want a world where people feel like they can have justice, and I think the now sets the stage for the future. Again, I want a world where people that survive horrible stuff, they can have advocates. But until we get there, ultimately, I mean, you've seen the leveraging, you've seen the awful, and it's absolutely unreal. But anyway, yeah, the kids, when they come up, they're a good reminder. All these weird simps, they never understand too. They talk about mommy and shit like that for Amber Heard. Well, some of us really are parents, and at the end of the day, when we do this kind of stuff, yes, they, I remember them all complaining about channels, monetization of channels. And I'm like, yeah, I've got kids there, and this stuff is important to cover. But at the same time, you know, let those ad revenue, let that do that, let it do its thing too, because these people, they play pretend. They call some random woman online their mommy, but they have no idea what it's really like. They have no idea what it's like to grow up, to truly be a parent, to advocate for anything. I mean, any of it. It's just all this stark fail we've seen from these folks again and again. But anyway, all right. Well, I'm going to end here today. Remember Flashcast tonight. I'm going to do my best to make Flashcast. I don't know. There's been a lot going on, so somebody asked me the other day too. Like, I get, like, if I miss a few shows of something, people will message and be like, "Oh, what's going on with you and Flash?" Or and Flash and I are, as I've said many times, I consider Flash. There are very few people I would say this about, but I consider Yellow Flash a friend, a real, in real life friend. So, yeah, that's so silly, but you know how the internet works. It's just stuff comes up, show is late, kids. So I'll do my best to see if I can pop in some. I'd like to. Like, there's some fun stuff to talk about. It's crazy stuff like that Ocean Gate. That's not fun. That's not, but that's crazy. Like all the stuff that happened with the Ocean Gate. Maybe our next live stream, we can talk about that lawsuit, for the safety with the Ocean Gate thing, because I think that's important. But yeah, there'll be a lot of other stuff too. So anyway, I'm going to end here. Tune in, Yellow Flash too. Check out his channel. If you haven't to, subscribe to it. But anyway, all right, I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to go make some popcorn that I promised and see what's what. Anyway, I appreciate you folks. I do. I very much appreciate all of you too. And maybe we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll see. I'm sure there'll be something crazy. All right. Thank you, folks. See ya.